Warmly welcome everyone to our presentation about decision making. Our group includes Yulia, Kale, Yaoyang, and Yuanlo.
Decision making. There's a new 8-step model used in decision making, and this helps with identifying the problems and making decisions. And this also helps finding the problems and risks and helps with the whole process of decision making. Decisions should always be carefully planned and before execution. It's very important to take risk into consideration and make the decisions. But I will be talking about the risks more in the other slides. Here is the 8-step model. First, you have to identify the problem. Then you have to identify the decision criteria. And then you have to weigh the decision criteria. Then you have to find the alternatives. Then you have to analyze them. Then you have to select an alternative. Then you have to implement it and evaluate the effectiveness of the final decision. If this fails, you have to go back to identifying the problem and seeing where you went wrong. I will be identifying this in more detail in another slide. Here's an example of buying a computer. Here's the criterion: the price, performance, energy efficiency, longevity, and appearance. Then we put the weight of these criterions. The weight means how much we value these criterions. For example, we prefer a lower priced machine over a higher priced machine. That's why we weight at 8. But we value performance more than price, so we're willing to pay more for higher performance machines. Energy efficiency we rate at 4. Longevity we rate at 6 because a long-lasting machine will be cheaper in the long run. And then appearance we weight at 1 because the appearance of the machine is not important to us and it doesn't affect its functions. Here is 4 different alternatives. Computer A, its price is 5, then computer B with the price of 4, computer C with price of 7, and D with the price of 8. They all have different performances, energy efficiency, longevity, and appearance. Then we calculate these criterions with ours and see what results we will get. And the end results will give us the best options for the computer which we choose. As we can see, computer B has the lowest value. The price is the lowest, but the performance is not that good compared to the other computers. And also the energy efficiency, well, it's pretty good, but the longevity is quite bad or worse than other computers. Even though the appearance is good, we would not choose this computer. Because of our criterions, we would end up with the computer D or A. They are the clear winners because D has over 20 points over A, and A has over 14 points over computer C. So here we would end up with 2 options, and we could see which one we would like to choose based on our criteria and different needs. Decision making. One of the most important parts of decision making is the aftermath of the decision. It's not only that you choose something and you say that you will stick to it, but actually sticking to your decision and showing people why you chose this decision. It's very important to get everybody involved in the decision making who the decision will affect, and to tell people who were not involved in the decision making and who are affected by the decision that why and how they made this decision. It's very bad if some person from the company doesn't follow the new decision or new regulations following the decision and continues working in the old ways. This will cause problems in the future or in the upper tier of the company, because they are doing with the new model and somebody is still working with the old model, and this will cause some conflicts in the future. The rational model of decision making. In the rational model, you try to find all possible variables in the decision making and with all the known variables, you try to anticipate and calculate the end results. The goal is to minimize the risks and to maximize the efficiency and monetary gain from the new decision making. The biggest problem is finding out all the possible variables, and it's almost impossible to find all of the variables. But you can find the most common ones, and this helps companies to find the most, or make decisions with the least risk and most awareness of their decisions and their end results. Also, when companies find these risks, it's easier for them to anticipate them and to counter these risks when they might occur.
I will begin with the models to be creative in decision making. You can see already some of them on the screen, but besides them, it also can be. Create a decision tree. Decision trees are relatively simple and easy to interpret, but which is why they are popular and frequently used tool. A decision tree is basically a graph that branches out and shows the different possibilities of events, side effects, or consequences. The next one is reflect on your choices. After every decision or a choice you've made, it's important to take time out to reflect on your choices. And the last one, final word. Ultimately, there is so much you can do whenever it comes to making tough decisions or simple decisions. At a certain point, you just have to get ready to take the plunge and go for it. Popular mistakes while making decisions. It can be being too dependent on expert information, overconfidence, filtering data of information, and also fear of commitment, avoiding decisions, and too many alternatives and options. Now let's move to steps to be more creative. As you can see, it is believe in your creativity, know your voice of judgment, pay attention to details, be open and aware, generate a lot of ideas, and also choose the best ideas, share your ideas, and turn creative ideas into actions. Now we will talk about program aids while decision making. Besides these two, which you can see already on the screen, it is standard procedures and methods. It means that predetermined standards like output and performance standards serve as good aids in routine decisions because collective memories of the organization members are a vast reservoir of factual skills and operating procedures.
So as the technology is advanced now, it also helps with decision making. Basically, there are two technical systems regarding decision making process. The first one is expert system, which is the software that acts like which is the software that acts like an expert in analyzing and solving your abstracted problems. It could also be considered as artificial expert. The system uses specialized knowledge to solve the specific problems, which maximize the efficiency as well as the accuracy of the problem. And it uses qualitative reasoning rather than numerical calculations. It makes the system more convincing and personalized. Besides that, the performance of the system is better than the non-expert humans. As it is a technical system, it has faster speed of analyzing the problem and searching for the specialized knowledge. By using the system, employees and low-level managers are able to make the decisions as the high-level managers and experts. Another technical system is called neural network. It could be also considered as the next step beyond an expert system, as it is more similar to a real human mindset. Basically, it is a software that is designed to imitate the structure of brain cells and connection among them. It is able to distinguish the complex patterns and chains. Also, it is able to handle hundreds of variables and connections at the same time, which is impossible for humans. and it could learn from previous experience and address the unidentified problems, which expert system can only search for the existing ones. By using the system, people could predict potential risks as it shows the direction that the problem is leading to, and it is more time-saving. So how do the two systems work? There are diagrams which illustrate how they work. As for the expert system, the user will be answering several questions about the situation of the problems, and the answer goes to the research system, which provide information to analyzing and concluding process, which users are able to see how experts will handle the problem. As for the neural network system, the basic processes are similar, except that instead of only searching for information and solution, it also makes association and connection, which means the problem is addressed more precisely. And after making the recommendation, the result goes to the database, which would provide possible association for other problems. So the decision can be made by individuals or in groups. Some people would prefer that the group decision making is more effective and convincing. Group decision making involves people from their specialized area to discuss and make the decision which will affect them together with each other. And because of their expertise, these people are best qualified to speak and make decisions for themselves. It is the combination of expert knowledge and the wide range of association, and it makes the decision more effective. The main point of group decision making is group meeting. People in the group will have brainstorming and open discussion together. The three objectives of group meeting are defining problems, coming up with solutions, and determining the means of implementation. The process of the group decision making could also follow the 8 steps that we have mentioned before. So, comparing with individual decision making, group decision making has more advantages than disadvantages. Undoubtedly, it provides more accurate decisions as it includes more completed information, great diversity of experience and perspectives, better quality and diversity of information due to different groups, specialties, and more alternatives. And it gains more acceptance among people in the organizations as the decision is approved by the group and all the informations are shared. It also helps with establishing team spirit, but there are also disadvantages of group decision making. It is more time consuming and inefficient. And there could be minority domination as they may have higher position and greater power within the organization. The most concerned one is group thinking, which is the withholding by group members of different views in order to appear to be in agreement. This will make group decision making totally meaningless. Apart from that, it also leads to ambiguous responsibility for the decision. Also, the confrontation could do damage to the team spirit. The groups may shift either towards more risk-taking or towards less risk-taking, and either of the shift may be undesirable. So when will the group decision-making be effective? There are 5 conditions. The first one is accurate decisions needed. With more completed information and experience provided within the groups, the decisions made by the group tend to be more accurate, and also the expertise of different groups also contribute to the accurate decisions. The second condition is creative decisions needed. As the diversity of experience and perspectives are provided in the groups, there are more alternatives, and brainstorming also helps with generating more creative ideas. The third one is high degree of acceptance needed. The information are shared within the groups, and group members are committed to the decision-making process, and it also increases the degree of acceptance among all the members. The fourth one is the size of the group. As it is showed in the research, groups of 5 to 7 members appear to be most effective because strict deadlocks are avoided. The last one is value of efficiency. Group decision making is time consuming. So if the importance of effectiveness exceeds it of efficiency, group decision making would be a better choice, and vice versa.
Now we move to the part decision making and national culture affection. National culture put an impact on decision making, which is shown in different categories. First, participant. Decisions can be made individually or as a group. For example, group work at school is conducted by a group of 3 to 5 students. Power distance, which shows the space between high and low position people. Here it means that in company or firms who make the official decision, the boss, the supervisors, or normal employees, it depends on the culture of each nation. Alternatives is the consideration of decision maker whether to have one decision only or many alternatives in case of emergency. Decision-making styles. Different cultures have different styles of making decisions. For example, autocratic styles have a group leader solve the problem by his own, while in the opposite, consultation style have the leader explain the situation and work together to find solutions. Level of risk. The decision makers dare to take risks of their decisions or choose the safe side. From that, decision-making are divided into some main styles. First, directive. This style shows an efficient, rational, and logical way of thinking. This type of people tends to follow the rules and have excellent verbal communication. They demand immediate results and short-term orientation. Secondly, analytics. Analytics represent careful people, always want to be well-performed and thorough assessments. They are able to adapt to an usual situation, but sometimes a little bit slow and time-consuming. Thirdly, conceptual. Conceptual style tends to approach the problem broadly. They consider all the alternatives in case of necessary. They focus on long-term goals and do not mind to take risks. Lastly, behavioral. Behavioral style is mainly for group decision-making. People with this style always want to ensure everyone works well and avoid conflicts. They are persuasive speakers and are able to drive people to their ways. In the end, they often negotiate an acceptable solution so that everyone's happy. And from directive to analytics, they show the low to high tolerance for ambiguity. And from directive to behavior, they show the rational to instinctive way of thinking. So how to be more creative and effective in decision making? There are 3 main ways to produce an effective decision making. First, brainstorming. This is the process of generating creative ideas or solutions for a specific problem through intensive and free work discussion. The participants in brainstorming are encouraged to think and suggest as many ideas as possible, no matter how they are. Secondly, electronic meeting, better known as e-meeting. This is a web-based meeting format, allow participants to have a visual and audio transfer. This will be taking place in real time, maybe include sharing documents or chart tables displays. One special thing is that this includes recording and playback functions to review. Last but not least, nominal group techniques. This is a variant of brainstorming but more controlled. which encourage creative thinking without group interaction when generating ideas. The way people gather ideas is that each person will write their ideas on their own, then discuss one by one in front of groups. These three techniques are the most common ones used in developed decision making, especially for groups. Thank you a lot for your attention.